I'm happier than I was a few weeks ago. I'm a lot happier than I was at halftime.
Coach, whenever you're ready.
All right, man. Here's the deal. Obviously, we came out, and I don't think we played inspired. We didn't play with energy and enthusiasm we've been talking about, right? The first half. For whatever reason. I don't know. We had a great week of practice. I don't know if it was just, it's hard to play an opponent this fast on this quick of a turnaround. I think that was maybe some of it. But super proud of how they responded in the second half. Because it was 50-50, man. I wasn't sure. This team hasn't really been in that situation yet. And I just told them at halftime, look, we haven't every single game our first half has been better than our second half. Doesn't matter what kind of game it is, who we're playing. I said, at some point, man, like this is going to have to be it, obviously, because we're down. Our second half is going to have to be better than our first, and it was way better than our first. And so really proud of, like, our upperclassmen, like Hunter, Leo, who was really struggling in the first half. Cade, unbelievable, came in and did some great things. When I put Cade in the game, that's when it changed. But I thought Leo handled it, was a great teammate, and then when we put him back in to give Cade a rest, which is usually the other way around, Leo came in and kind of followed Cade's lead. Went right at him and got a big bucket. So just really happy with everybody. And I know you're going to ask this probably, but the most important thing to me is that we forced 27 turnovers. And that's how you win games. And that's how we play. It's ACU basketball. So anyway, with that, man, I'll give it to you.
Dontrez had a couple of huge steals and then ran right down the court and dunked it. What did you see from him tonight?
I mean, I think Dontrez is who kept us in the game in the first half. We went with him. And, instead of, like, our starters didn't play a lot in the first half. I mean, in the second portion of that. And Dontrez came in and got some deflections. Even a couple of possessions where they scored, they had to work a little bit because Dontrez was flying around and getting his hands in the air. And, we say play fearless. I don't think he did anything right. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter because what he was doing was working. And sped them up a little bit. And it kept us in the game when we weren't playing well. And then, obviously, in the second half, man, when I can put him in there, we went zone a couple of possessions, and I can put him at the top of the zone. I think every possession we went zone, we forced a turnover. And him and Rich, with their length, are a big part of that. But super proud of Dontrez. The way he's played the last couple games has been huge for us.
Yeah, you spoke to me at halftime about the energy, and then you guys came out in the second half and forced a timeout in the first 3 minutes. What did you see from there?
Yeah, that's what it was. They responded, and just same thing I told you at halftime was our energy and enthusiasm wasn't there. We talk about those two words all the time. And I challenged them at halftime. And I said, if you don't come out, we're going to win. I wanted to win every single 4-minute game of the second half, which I think we did. I'm not sure about the last 4, but going into the last 4-minute game, we had won every single 4-minute game. And that was only going to happen if we had energy and enthusiasm. And I thought they did that. Hunter came out. To be honest with you, like Hunter was kind of, I don't know, he was in a weird space to start the game. Not sure why. But he came out second half with tons of energy, tons of enthusiasm. I mean, hits the transition 3, huge shot, and he was making passes. I think he was kind of the leader in that, in terms of, like, not necessarily scoring, but playing with energy and enthusiasm, and everybody else kind of followed.
And then those 50 points in the second half, like, obviously it doesn't happen by accident. Do you think it was just that energy and effort, or was it having to do with some offensive sets?
No, man. I wish I could tell you that I was that good. You know what I mean? But it's really, this game we make this game way too hard. We overthink a lot of stuff. Like I was telling my staff, we were talking about different. Let's just stop. They're playing well, so let them play. Because, like, these guys played with energy and enthusiasm, dude. It's that simple. It doesn't mean you're going to win every game you're going to play. But, man, we've talked a lot about having fun, right? And I think at one point during the season, we kind of lost that piece of it. And when you have energy and enthusiasm, man, you have fun. When you're doing all of that together, man, it usually works out in your favor.
I won the turnover battle by a wide margin. How does that factor into the whole team? Like, what is y'all like? Y'all in practice, y'all work on that energy?
Yeah, we do drills. We actually work on that stuff. We start practice with energy drills. We finish practice with energy drills. We did our loose ball drill yesterday, and that's why I was so upset at halftime, dude. Like, I mean, they beat us to every ball on the floor in the first half. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be that team. And I think in the second half we did. I think there's only like 3 of them, and we got all 3 of them. And so we do practice that stuff. It's important. And we call them out on it. We hold them accountable. They're allowed to hold me accountable, which they've done a couple times in the last couple games. If I don't have it, they're allowed to hold me accountable to it too. And so it's just something that we pride ourselves in. It's part of our culture, and, we don't want to lose it. And I think we did lose it for a little bit, but we've gotten it back.
Hey, Bert, you mentioned Horniker just briefly. But
Yeah.
Touch on, because he really seemed that he turned the tide there early and midway in the second half.
at some point in every season, somebody's going to have a moment like that, right? Like to win a big game. This was a huge game. I don't know if anybody realizes how big this game was. I tried to play it down with the guys all week, and at halftime I just told them the truth. I said, man, I've been hiding from this all week because I didn't know how to handle it, but this is a huge game, guys. And I talked about everything that was riding on it. And so now there's a lot of basketball left, but this game can change what you're playing for, right? And but Cade came in after sitting there, not getting to play. Hadn't scored a lot, had been kind of struggling around the rim lately. And, man, he was ready. He was ready. And he helps us defensively. I tell him that all the time. We're better defensively when he's in the game because he can change shots, he rebounds. But, man, when he's making shots, it's a bonus. And like I said, I want to give Leo some credit, man, because Leo was his biggest cheerleader. And sometimes that doesn't always happen with teams, right? And Leo was over there, and the first time I said, hey, Leo, I want you ready. And he said, dude, call a timeout. Let Cade have it. Rest him with a timeout, which I didn't do. But like just the way Cade played, the energy, right, that he played with, and it's good to see somebody that works so hard and is such a good teammate, right, to go in and have a moment like that.
I think you guys are now like 8-4 at home. Like, how big has it been just being back in the big country? Yeah, it's great, right? Like we get to sleep in our own bed, we get to practice. The biggest thing, look, we've always actually played pretty good on the road, to be honest with you, in the past. But what you miss out in this league when you travel so much is practice time. It's not really about playing it somewhere else or playing at home. I mean, you need to win your home games, right? We all know that. But we've gotten to practice, and we've gotten to and I felt like we got out of rhythm with all those road games, And so now it's working in our favor a little bit. Because we're actually getting a ton of practice time now when it matters. And so, but these guys, they could have shut down with all that. I kept telling you guys, man, on Mondays and in here that these guys were coming. And because I could see it the way that they practice. And that's been the best part is our practices are just as energetic as those games. And we get a little bit more practice now. And but I wish we didn't play for another week. But unfortunately, we have a really good team coming in on Saturday.
Hey, you talked about what you told the guys about this game and then Saturday. But after Saturday, everybody you play the last 4 games is above you.
Mm-hmm.
You shot to
Yeah.
get into that top 4 or 5. How important are these?
Yeah, I mean every game's important, right? But without this one, then those don't mean as much, right? With every one, it gives you a chance at the next one. And we talk about this is when you want to be playing good. It really does at our level, man. It doesn't really matter. Yes, you want to win them all, and trust me, I want to continue to do that. But right now is what matters. And playing good at the end of February and the beginning of March, and that's what we're trying to do. But I think this is the time of year you do start talking about those things. You do kind of start talking about the standings and where you're at, and give these guys something to chase. Because without chasing something, why are you doing it? And so this is the first time today at halftime. It's the first time I mentioned anything about it. And I probably won't talk about it much more unless it's necessary.
Tonight was Greek night. The students were out again. Brad, talk about what impact you've seen on them over the last few games and specifically down on the court.
Yeah, man, thanks again. I appreciate that because that was in my head. I wanted to say that at the start. Look, all the social clubs, all the students, all the people that were there, they make a difference. They made a huge difference tonight. Like, when that arena gets loud, like, the first half was quiet. Now, that was on us, right? That's not on them. But as soon as we started making plays in the second half, what happened? That place started getting loud, and what did we start doing? These guys fed off that energy. And we need them to come back. We need them to come back Saturday. Like, and the guys down there that have been in the student section on the floor have been unbelievable. They impact the game. And that's where it's so fun for me, like for our guys. We talk about it. It's not our team. We talk about that all the time. It's your team, right? It's ACU's team. It's Abilene's team, and we mean that. And to see our guys interacting with those guys on the baseline, right after the game, like they're part of the team because they are, and that's what this is all about. This is fun, right? It's when they come and they become a part of the game. Then it is fun for everybody, not just us. It's fun for them. And so super thankful, man, for all the social clubs, for all the people in our administration, everybody that have worked so hard to try to get good crowds to the game, and just everybody in the community that's starting to come. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me the last couple of days, Coach, man, hey, if I'm not going to be there, you can use my tickets and do whatever. Like, everybody's kind of buying into this deal, and that's exactly what we need. And so I'm super happy for it, really, really excited, and we need to keep it going. If I started Jack Sawyer, we might have a problem. But But, you know, I want to mention that, though, but Jack is just like Cade. And what I mean by that is Jack's an unbelievable teammate. And he plays some games he doesn't get as much time. It just kind of depends on how the game's going. But that dude is unbelievable. He gets us better in practice. When he does go in the game, he always impacts it in a positive way. Jack's going to be a really good player. He's going to be a great Wildcat for a long time. But Sue, I'm glad you mentioned Jack too. But definitely, man, we got to be careful of sub-T boys when Jack gets in there.